Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Alyssa Ashe with a very special report for you tonight about President Trump's picks for the Supreme Court nominee. Now, he has created a list of 25 individuals he believes are qualified to uphold this position. It was just days ago that Chief Justice Anthony Kennedy turned in his resignation after 30 years of sitting and serving in his seat. And we are so excited to see who President Trump picks kind of as this approaches and who will become the new Supreme Court Justice in the fall. Now, Senate, sorry, one second. I'm going to give you guys kind of a rundown of just what I'm going to talk about tonight. I'm going to talk about the top candidates, other possible nominees, and I'm going to give you guys a background of each one of them. But most importantly, I want you guys' interaction. Please make sure to message me, and I'm going to show you right here how you can do that. You can direct message me on Twitter at Alyssa RSBN, and I really want to know who you think should be the next Supreme Court Justice. So please message me there, and of course you can be commenting in the YouTube chat as well, and I'm going to pull that up real quick. I have lots of tabs up and lots to share with you guys tonight, so it is going to be just such a fun night. One second, I'm pulling this up so that I can see your chats. And someone already said Ted Cruz. That's great. So I'm going to kind of give you guys a brief background. So kind of how it happens, you know, you might be wondering, how does the Supreme Court Justice get nominated? Well, the president nominates someone for a vacancy on the court, and the Senate votes to confirm that nominee, which requires a simple majority. Now, as you know, right now, there is a Republican majority in the Senate just by, you know, one senator, and of course, Senator John McCain is home in Arizona with brain cancer, so please keep him in your thoughts and prayers. And kind of in the way that it's decided, both the executive and the legislative branches of the federal government will have a voice in the composition of the Supreme Court. And now, surprisingly enough, the Constitution doesn't specify qualifications for justices such as age, education, profession, or native-born citizenship. A justice doesn't have to be a lawyer or a law school grad, but all justices so far have been trained in the law. And many of the 18th and 19th century justices studied law under a mentor because there were few law schools in the country. So I'm going to kind of tell you guys first about those top picks that President Trump has chosen. They're at the top 5. One second. Let me just get over to that real quick. Sorry guys, I have a million tabs open over here, but I'm hunting for that right now. Okay, sorry that took a second, but the front runners, first I will tell you who they are and then I'll tell you a little bit about them. So Thomas M. Hardiman, he is currently in the United States Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit, and he was actually considered last year for the seat that was ultimately filled by Justice Neil Gorsuch. Now, Judge Hardiman was first appointed to the federal bench by President George W. Bush in 2003, and he was elevated to the appeals court 4 years later, and this is all from a New York Times article. Thank you for that. And he's built a reputation as a reliable conservative on the court, which is, of course, something President Trump is looking for and something many Democrats are fearful of. And he actually served alongside President Trump's sister, Judge Marianne Trump Barry, who is said to have recommended him for the Supreme Court vacancy last year. And now, one opinion that could really resonate with President Trump is that Judge Hardiman signed a decision declaring that asylum seekers could not ask a federal district court to postpone their deportation while challenging their removal orders, which is, of course, a hot topic right now as we deal with immigration. Now, I'm going to pull this over right here. Love seeing your comments. Thank you guys so much for joining. And I am checking Twitter as well. So remember, if you have Twitter questions, it's at Alyssa RSBN. Now, another front runner is William H. Pryor Jr., and he is currently serving on the United States Court of Appeals in the 11th Circuit. He was also viewed as a finalist for last year's vacant seat on the court, and he is actually called Roe v. Wade, which, of course, as you know, is the 1973 Supreme Court decision that established a woman's constitutional right to have an abortion as the worst abomination of constitutional law in our history. Now, months ago, President Trump was actually asked if he would be hiring another Supreme Court justice that would terminate Roe versus Wade, and he said that he was looking for one that would do that. But a couple days ago, when he was interviewed and asked the same question again, he said he actually would not ask the Supreme Court Justice nominee during interviews if they were for or against Roe versus Wade. Now, it's obviously likely that President Trump will ask them if they are for Roe versus Wade, but he's probably not speaking on it right now because he doesn't want to lose all of that Democratic support, and he has been meeting with some key Democratic senators, and I'm going to get to those later in the broadcast, kind of after we talk about all these nominees. So that, could be a deciding factor. And now William H. Pryor is also close with Attorney General Jeff Sessions, and like Mr. Sessions, he is an outspoken conservative, and he has strongly opposed gay rights. It looks like I got a message already on Twitter from one of our moderators, JC779723. Thank you RSBN and Alyssa for covering the SCOT US pick. This is huge. Keep up the great work. Salute. Thank you so much, JC. Really appreciate you and all of our moderators serving in the chat room to make sure that it stays clean and friendly. We appreciate you guys so much, and we couldn't do this without you. And speaking of our moderators, they also tell you how you are able to donate and support RSBN. And I'll do my first donations hit of the night. There are actually 4 different ways that you can do that. You can donate right here on the YouTube chat. You can just click the $sign and super chat and donate there. You can donate on our website. It's at the very top bar, or you can go to rsbnetwork.com/donate, where you can donate through PayPal, or you can also become a monthly subscriber on Patreon, and that is Patreon with an E, patreon.com, patreon.com/RSBN. And that's where you can kind of get some of the more fun things like mugs and hats and t-shirts and different things like that, which of course we'll be giving away to 3 of our lucky winners from our contest we just had at our rally in Fargo, North Dakota. Congratulations to you guys, and look forward to more giveaways in the future. And also, if you want to donate the old-fashioned way, you can send a check to our home address, and that's 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344 in Auburn, Alabama 36830. Now, kind of back to the Supreme Court nominees. Also, we have, and hopefully I will pronounce this right, Amul R. Thapar, who is currently serving in the United States Court of Appeals for the 6th Circuit. And let's see. So he is the son of Indian American immigrants, and he was actually the first federal court judge of South Asian descent. He was among those considered by President Trump for last year's Supreme Court vacancy as well. And last year, he told senators, "I'm my own judge, and I hope my track record speaks that." And he has also previously served as a judge on the Federal District Court in Eastern Kentucky. Now, we also have Britt M. Kavanaugh, who is currently serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit, who by some MSNBC reports I watched earlier is considered the absolute front runner, but that's already in the air. And before I talk about Mr. Kavanaugh, I am going to go over here. It looks like we already got a couple donations. Thank you so much. $20 from Jesus is Lord. And they said, "My favorite anchor, looking forward to seeing you in Montana." Thank you so much, Jesus is Lord. Unfortunately, I will not be going to Montana because I am in the process of moving, but we will still have a crew there, so stay tuned. I believe that will be Aaron, Tom, and Liz. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I forgot to mention, my next broadcast will actually be from my new studio here in Auburn. So stay tuned for that in about a week. It's going to be really exciting. And we also got $2 from Nathan Greninger. Thank you so much for that and all of your support. And $5 from Carl Peterson just now. He said, "That means all of us MAGA." Thank you so very much. Appreciate it so, so much. Now back to Brett Kavanaugh. So kind of even before Justice Gorsuch was confirmed, White House officials were already signaling their interest in this judge for a future opening of the Supreme Court. He was a former prosecutor under the independent counsel of Kenneth W. Starr, and he was appointed to the court actually by George W. Bush in 2006, and he had a difficult road to confirmation. Now, as a White House advisor, he helped Mr. Bush fill the nation's courts with conservatives, according to the New York Times. And Senator Chuck Schumer, as you all know, is the Senate Minority Leader, said that Mr. Kavanaugh would probably win first prize as the hard rights political lawyer. So, you know, obviously Chuck Schumer probably didn't mean this in a positive way, but for us conservatives, it is definitely a compliment. And then also, it is pretty fantastic. President Donald Trump actually has 2 women as the front runners in this search for the new Supreme Court Justice. Joan L. Larson is currently serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the 6th Circuit. Now, she was a former Michigan State Supreme Court Justice, and she was actually confirmed last year to the federal bench. But, you know, during her confirmation process, she was criticized by civil rights groups for her past rulings and writings on gay rights. And let's see. She actually clerked for former Justice Antonin Scalia and has praised his by-the-letter reading of the Constitution and the law. She was a former law professor at the University of Michigan, and she said her confirmation hearing last year was that she would be an independent-minded jurist, and something she said that's been written down time and time again is that if someone believes I passed some litmus test, I honestly don't know how they came to that conclusion. So she obviously has a sense of humor. And then that other female Supreme Court Justice nominee that's being considered is Amy Coney Barrett, who is currently serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit. And she actually became what some would say is kind of a hero to religious conservatives last year when Senator Dianne Feinstein questioned what influence her Roman Catholic faith would have on her rulings from the bench. And she was questioned in about a 1998 article where she argued that some Catholic judges should be able to recuse themselves sometimes from sentencing death penalty cases. And at her confirmation hearing, she actually backed away from that position. And she served for 15 years as a law professor at the University of Notre Dame. So obviously all that are being considered for this position have a good background in law. I do believe that President Trump and his advisees are going to make an educated decision, and they will not choose someone unqualified for this position. And it has been successful, seeing as how last year he hired Neil Gorsuch, and that has been very successful so far. And it looks like we just got another donation from my dad. Thank you so much. My #1 supporter, $15, and he said, awesome, Alyssa. So thanks, Dad. And we are going to go down a little bit. I'm going to make sure no one has commented in the Facebook chat so far. Go down a little bit. I'm going to make sure no one has. And Alan said, Alyssa, what's your commented in the Facebook chat so far? ALYSSA, Ashe, ASHE. Go down a little bit. I'm going to make sure no one has. And Alan said, Alyssa, what's your commented in the Facebook chat so far? ALYSSA, Ashe, ASHE. Go down a little bit. I'm going to make sure no one has. And Alan said, Alyssa, what's your commented in the Facebook chat so far? ALYSSA, Ashe, ASHE. Go down a little bit. I'm going to make sure no one has. And Alan said, Alyssa, what's your commented in the Facebook chat so far? Go down a little bit. I'm going to make sure no one has. And Alan said, Alyssa, what's your commented in the Facebook chat so far? This one?
Open the volume, make certain you have turned on the browser audio because they're hearing you on Facebook, because you have a Facebook window open there. Or you can just
move that. Is it on this side?
On the left side.
Oh. Is it good now? Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
You want to just like mute it right here.
Yeah, it's muted here. Okay. We should be good now, but guys, let me know if you are still hearing double, because I had the Facebook audio on as well. Let's see. Someone said that fixed it.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that, guys. I am still getting the hang of this, and as you know, it is going to be a learning process. But let's see. Okay, I am going between Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So that might be why you're hearing triple for a second. Sorry about that. But we are going to keep on moving on. Let's see. I enjoy reading these Facebook comments. I'm going to go up a little bit. Wow, we just got a huge donation from an unfamiliar and ambiguous name, not sure. Wow, $250. Thank you so much. Not sure. I wish I knew your true name, but really, wow, I am in shock right now, and Joe is clapping in the background, and I'm going to read out your donation. read out your comment because, wow, you have just blessed us so much. Thank you. He said, I'm very, assuming you're a he. If you're not, let me know. I've messed that up before with Hello Kitty Big Fun. He said, I'm very impressed with you. Joe and team made a great hire here. You seem very knowledgeable. The whole problem before with previous anchor was that he's not conservative and was giving news on a conservative channel. The other girl I never saw on here. Whoa, holy double audio. Yes, we fixed the audio issue now. And of course, guys, if there are any more issues, please let us know. Just comment right here and we will see it and pick it up and fix it. But wow, thank you so much, Not Sure. We really, really appreciate it. And it is without, you know, without your donations, we are not able to do this because RSBN is fully viewer supported and it is our goal to be a different type of news network. We are not mainstream media. We're not Fox News, obviously, or CNN, MSNBC, ABC, nothing like that. We're very original and very just real. So thank you so much. And Swoosh for Trump said, Alyssa, that's Waffle House money, which is so funny. He still wants us to go there. And Zach Sutton, hey Alyssa, Ash, how are you? I am doing very good because I am talking to you guys right now and having a great time. So I'm going to pull up this lower third, pull back up this lower third so you can see what we're talking about. And we are going to get back to the nominees. So I am going to, first I'm going to go down, read you the list, the entire list, 25 nominees. So stay with me. I know it might not be the most exciting thing, but it's going to be worth it. And then I will get into their biographies, tell you a little bit about each one. So I'm going to say the ones that I already talked about before. I'm going to say their names as well. So we have Amy Coney Barrett of Indiana, serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit. Keith Blackwell of Georgia, serving on the Supreme Court of Georgia, of course. Charles Kennedy of Florida, serving on the Supreme Court of Florida. Stephen Colton of Iowa, serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit. Allison Eade of Colorado, serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit. Britt Grant of Georgia, serving on the Supreme Court of Georgia. Raymond Grunder of Missouri, serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit. Thomas M. Hardiman of Pennsylvania, serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the 3rd Circuit. Brett M. Kavanaugh, as I told you guys, who's very conservative, of Michigan, serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the 6th Circuit. Mike Lee of Utah, who is a United States Senator. Thomas Lee of Utah, his brother, who is on the Supreme Court of Iowa. Federico Moreno of Florida, serving on the United States District Court for the Southern District of Florida. Kevin Newsome of Alabama, serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit. William Pryor of Alabama, serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit as well. And then we have Margaret Ryan of Virginia, the United States Court of Appeals for the Armed Forces. She's serving there. David Strauss of Minnesota, serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit. Diane Skies of Wisconsin, serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit. And Amul Thapar of Kentucky, serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the 6th Circuit. Timothy Timkovich of Colorado, serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit. Robert Young of Michigan, who is actually retired from the Supreme Court of Michigan. Don Willett of Texas, serving on the United States Court of Appeals for the 5th Circuit. And Patrick Wyrick of Oklahoma, serving on the Supreme Court of Oklahoma. So that's your list. So we're going to get more into detail as the night goes on. But first, I am going to read back 2 new donations we just got. Thank you so much. JC, one of our moderators, said Joe Seals gives his all. He really does. You guys have absolutely no idea how much our CEO, Joe, does, especially during rallies. He is back here producing, multitasking, making sure that we are all okay, messaging on the group text while raising a family at the same time. So he definitely has a crazy life. And one of my favorite things he always says is, I need to write a book. I need to write a book. Tara, help me write a book. Alyssa, help me write a book. Because he just has so much going on. You guys don't even know. Even today he had a very lengthy to-do list, but still made time to help me set up my studio, and I'm so thankful for that. And then, oh, and your hashtag, JC, I need to read the rest of your comment. Thank God for RSBN and POTUS Trump. Hashtag RSBN Mod Squad. Thank you so much, JC. And then another donation from a loyal viewer, Carl Peterson. Salute JC with a mighty dose of MAGA. Thank you so much to both of you. I so appreciate it. And so now I am going to go into depth about these different nominees. Now, you know, while I'm talking about these nominees, if there's anything you know about them that I haven't mentioned, because for me tonight, it was the first time looking and learning about many of them as well. So if there's something that I haven't mentioned and you believe it to be credible, especially, you know, if you have a source, you guys know you can send me links as well in the YouTube chat. That would be super helpful. And in the Facebook chat as well, which, you know, if you're watching on Facebook, that's great. But I do want you to know the YouTube chat is what I look at primarily. So I'll try to occasionally look at the YouTube chat. The Facebook chat, but I am always reading that YouTube chat. So if you have any links or any further information, please let me know. I would love to look into that. And it looks like Inarticulate Cavazos said Judge Janine Pirro would be a nice choice. That is so funny. I knew someone would say, someone from Fox News. I was waiting for that. That would be definitely a nice choice. Let's see. Okay. Now I'm checking over on Facebook as well. I'm going to just excuse me, I can't talk tonight. Get used to going back and forth. Vegas Dude said, are you on Gab, Alyssa? No, I am not. But I will have to look into that. And let me see. I'm going to pull up my biographies of these different individuals who could possibly, one of them will be our next Supreme Court Justice, which is so exciting. History is being made. I mean, just think of all that President Trump has been able to do that no president has been able to do before. Something I really liked in one of his rallies, well, actually the last rally, and he says it time and time again, that 64% of their top items have already been executed during his term. And I just think that's absolutely insane. He probably doesn't sleep, honestly. Let's see. Okay, we're going to start with Justice Keith Blackwell, who is currently serving on the Supreme Court of Georgia. Now, he was actually appointed to the Supreme Court of Georgia in 2012 by Governor Nathan Deal. And this is from the official website, gasupreme.us, if you want to see more information. And let's see, he had previously served as a judge on the Court of Appeals of Georgia. And this position, he was actually appointed by Governor Sonny Perdue back in November 2010. So, you know, it looks like from this, he has at least 8 years experience in a sitting position. He was born and raised in Cherokee County. He graduated valedictorian, so very smart. He attended the University of Georgia, graduated summa cum laude in '96 as a first honor graduate with a degree in political science. So he definitely has that legal background and that working knowledge of politics. And then he attended the University of Georgia School of Law, served as an editor for the Review, and of course graduated summa cum laude from the School of Law in 1999 as a first honor graduate. And it looks like we just got another donation. Thank you so much. Rick Moore donated $35. Ted Cruz for SCOTUS or Judge J. Great work, Alyssa. Joe Seals is a patriot. Yes, he is Rick Moore. Thank you so much for that. Now, so, going back to Keith Blackwell, after law school, he served as a law clerk to Judge J.L. Edmondson of the United States Court of Appeals of the 11th Circuit. He, entered law practice, represented clients in criminal and regulatory investigations, and it says other commercial litigation, served as an assistant, district attorney in Cobb County, represented the state of Georgia in several hundred felony prosecutions. So that is so good. He definitely has experience there. And it looks like he has a wide variety of experiences. He also counseled clients with respect to trade secrets, computer crimes, and data security. And he currently serves as the Supreme Court liaison to the State Bar of Georgia. He serves as the he also serves as a liaison to the Office Bar of Admissions and Board of Bar Examiners, and he is the chair of Commission on Entrepreneurs and a member of the Commission on Dispute Resolution. He's a member of the Cobb Bar Association. He's a master of the Joseph Henry Lumpkin American Inn of Court and the Columbus American Inn of Court. That is a mouthful. And let's see. So he's had a variety of roles, and he also previously served as a member of the Governor's Appellate Jurisdiction Reform Commission, as a member of the Governor's Judicial Nominating Commission, and as an advisor to the House Judiciary Committee with respect to the revision of the State Evidence Code. And he lived in Cobb County with his wife, Angela, and their 3 daughters. Angela's my sister's name. That's cool. Just a side fact there, personal fact. Anyways, so that is all about Keith Blackwell. And now we will move on. I'm going to, before I read the next one to you guys, I'm going to check my Twitter messages and make sure I get them all. Let's see, Mark B said, if you could please mention the ages of these nominees. Keep up the great reporting. Thank you so much, Mark. Unfortunately, I do not have all of the ages prepared, but you can definitely just Google their names and their ages should come up. And if you want, I can also tweet out the master list I'm using so that you can look into more information about them later. And I'm going to head over to Facebook and check what people are saying. Okay, Eric Bascom IV said Senator Mike Lee is a front runner, Alyssa, but he hasn't served as a judge, lacks experience from his law background. And let's see. Going to check the YouTube chat as well. I do like that you were, Eric, that you were considering his law background, because that is very, very important, and we want the next Supreme Court justice to have a fantastic law background, so they are able to make these very difficult decisions that will impact generations to come. President Trump at the last rally in Fargo, North Dakota, said that he wants someone great that will be there for 40 to 45 years. And so definitely want an outstanding individual in this seat. Let's see, I'm going to click over to the YouTube chat. JC, our moderator, said, and Barbara Braley, thank you so much. They both said share the stream. Yes. RSBN family, please share this stream. You can share our stream on YouTube, the one on our website, the one on Facebook, or the one on Twitter or Periscope. However you're watching, please share it to just keep getting the word out. And Swoosh for Trump, who is a regular that always messages us, says that they want them to be pro-life and to have a Bible next to their copy of the Constitution. That would definitely be fantastic. And Kenneth Van said Uruguay for Trump. That just stood out to me because that is one of my favorite countries, and I've told you guys this before in my Q&A if you've seen it, that I went to on a mission trip. So thank you for watching from all the way at the very south tip of South America in Uruguay. Thank you for watching. And let's see. Okay, well, if you guys don't have any more questions or suggestions, I am going to move on to our next possible Supreme Court Justice, Chief Justice Charles T. Kennedy. He was born in Lakeland, Florida. He's married to Jennifer, and they have 2 children. And he received his BA from Haverford College in 1976 and his JD from the Yale School of Law in 1979, which is good because President Trump definitely is looking at those, I heard earlier, that have graduated from Yale or Harvard. Just, you know, different Ivy League schools kind of have that leg up. And he actually served 3 terms in the Florida House of Representatives, and he served 4 terms in the United States House of Representatives. He was a member of the House Judiciary Committee, and for 3 years, from January 1995 to January 2001, he was the chairman of the House Judiciary Subcommittee on the Constitution. And he actually became general counselor to Governor Jeb Bush. He was appointed by Governor Bush, to the 2nd District of Appeal for a term beginning November 20th, 2002. And then in 2008, he was appointed to the Florida Supreme Court by Governor Charlie Crist and took office on September 8th. And he served as Chief Justice from July 2010 to June 2012. And then in March 2018, so very recently, this year, he was elected by his colleagues to serve as Chief Justice for a 2nd time, with his 2-year term starting July 2018. Now, let's see. John Spark making a comment, because he is a little older, he will not last 5 years, but that means with age comes experience. And so, you know, that is something that could actually be beneficial, but I do understand that if President Trump wants someone to be here for 40 to 45 years, they might need to be on the younger side. Let's see, and I'm going to move on to our next possible nominee while checking Twitter and YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So excuse me if I am looking all over the place, multitasking. Let me see real quick if we got anything new on Twitter. Wow, we just got a $50 donation from Scottsdale, Arizona. Thank you so much for that. And he said, driving me crazy, the Dems keep making this statement that McConnell is being hypocritical for moving forward in an election year. It is so easily proven wrong, but they are counting on the media to keep stating the lie until the public believes it. Yes, thank you so much, Scottsdale. I was kind of looking into that earlier, just seeing how Senator Chuck Schumer was very displeased that this was happening during an election year, wanted it to wait until after midterms. But this is an important decision, and honestly, it's something that shouldn't be stalled over. And that's something that I do like and respect about our president, is that he always keeps moving things forward. And it looks like Barbara Bailey, thank you so much, commented there. Send a DM message to Alyssa Ashe on Twitter at Alyssa RSBN, and I will throw that up for you guys for a couple minutes if you would like to see that and need an easy way to access me on Twitter. And now I am going to, let's see, move on to our next possible nominee, Stephen Colton. Oh, and one of you asked about the age. First thing I'll tell you, he is 54 years old. He turned 54 on January 9th. And he's a judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit. He graduated from Princeton, so definitely some prestige there. And Yale Law School, before clerking for Judge Lawrence Silberman for the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit, and then Chief Justice William Reinhurst on the Supreme Court. He actually began his practice in the Office of Legal Counsel in the U.S. Department of Justice, and then he became an assistant U.S. attorney, actually in his home state of Iowa, where he held for approximately 8 years. So definitely experience there. Now, after kind of working in private practice for a while, he returned to government service when President George W. Bush named him U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Iowa in 2000. And then Bush nominated him to join the 8th Circuit. And let's see. Definitely, he was highly qualified. I can tell that the qualification is definitely there. And this is all from the SCOTUS blog, the Supreme Court of the United States blog. And yes, one of our moderators said Jackie barking. He was barking in the background, one of Joe's dogs, but he went to handle that. Let's see. Something that you might find interesting, since it's such a hot topic, you may be wondering, what does Colton think about abortion? Well, his decisions in this area have been conservative, which is definitely a good thing. So one of the more famous cases where his decision, his views shone through, was the Planned Parenthood, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota versus Rounds. He actually joined in the en banc decision reversing the grant of a preliminary injunction against the enforcement of a South Dakota law that actually required physicians to disclose certain information to women seeking abortions, and that also defined the term human being to include the unborn. So that is very interesting. And let's see, he hasn't written that much about the scope of federal power regarding the Commerce Clause, but okay. He is sympathetic to limits on campaign spending, which is good because, as you guys all know, we are just trillions of dollars in debt. What was it, like 18 trillion by the Obama administration? And so President Trump is trying to lower our debts. So it looks like Colton would help that process as well. And let's see. He also seems to be for the Second Amendment, rejecting a Second Amendment challenge to gun laws each time when looking at 4 different Second Amendment cases. And also, his religious views are conservative. And you know, each of these nominees is going to have different issues that they're going to you know, be for or be against, and that can be kind of tricky, but at the end of the day, we need someone that represents America well, and preferably is a conservative, and that will really hold to the Constitution, which is something that Anthony Kennedy was successful in. You know, he was a Republican, but it was his goal to really just stick to the Constitution. And you know, if you guys have any of your favorite of Anthony Kennedy's accomplishments, please comment them right here. I would love to see them. And it looks like someone else said Trillion Man, issues that need to be addressed. Tax cuts, booming economy, NK peace. Oh, well, okay. Not issues that need to be addressed, kind of, but it looks like they are saying many of President Trump's accomplishments. So I'll continue reading them. Historic low unemployment, strongest military, vet care, regulations rollback, Jerusalem capital, secured borders, Supreme Court, and trade agreements. Yes, thank you for that. And it looks like we just got another donation. Thank you so much, $99.99. Wow, again, from the same donor. Not sure. Thank you so much for that. And he said, what's your email address? It is Alyssa, just like you see on the lower third, .ash@rsbn.tv. Super simple. So let's see. Enough about Colton. We will move on to Allison Eade. And she is currently on the United States Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit. Now, interestingly enough, she was nominated last year for Neil Gorsuch's, well, she actually filled Neil Gorsuch's old seat when he moved up to a Supreme Court justice. Oh, and it looks like someone shared a fun fact. Nuclear bumpkin, Anthony was in the office longer than any other Kennedy. I didn't know that. Thank you for that. And let's see. It looks like... Okay, I want to give you guys the most accurate facts. So Judge Allison Eade was born in 1965 in Seattle, Washington. Her federal judicial service includes serving on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit. And like I mentioned before, she was nominated by President Trump June 7th of last year to a seat vacated by Neil Gorsuch, and she was confirmed by the Senate on November 2nd, 2017, and received commission November 3rd, 2017. And she went to Stanford University for her undergrad and studied at the University of Chicago Law School to get her law degree. She had a private practice in Denver, Colorado, on and off from 1991 to 1998. She served as a law clerk for the Honorary Jerry E. Smith of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit. And she also taught, which I think is just so fantastic, to be giving and serving to future generations. She taught at the University of Colorado Law School. She was a solicitor as an associate professor and then an adjunct professor, and then she was a solicitor general for the state of Colorado. She was also an adjunct professor at Suffolk University Law School Summer Law Program in Sweden. Wow, Lund, Sweden, that's definitely cool. And she was a visiting judicial teaching fellow at the J. Reuben Clark Law School in Brigham Young University. And let's see, it looks like we got another donation. Thank you so much from a loyal follower, Nate Skate, $20. Thank you for that. And he said, thank you, Alyssa, for helping to MAGA. All the reporters from RSBN are great. Thank you for the broadcast. Thank you so much, Nate Skate. We definitely appreciate your donation. And it looks like we actually just received another one. It looks like euros, correct me if I'm wrong, from Jane Yilitalo. Probably said that wrong, but thank you so much for that, Jane, or Jan, however you pronounce it. We really appreciate that. And let's see. Okay, it might have been Finland, because now you're making comments about how the Finnish mainstream hates CNN, or the Finnish mainstream is fake CNN. Okay, that's funny. I love how people are watching from all over the world. I think that is such a cool thing about just YouTube and the internet, that people are able to watch from all over the world. Really cool. I am going to move on to our next possible Supreme Court justice, but let's see. Before that, it looks like Sound said, one thing I don't understand is that Canada says Trump's tariffs are illegal under White House official rules. Aren't Canada's tariffs also illegal? Unfortunately, they are legal, even though they just raised them today to like 12% or something. I heard earlier when I was getting my daily news digest. Okay, so now, moving on to Justice Britt C. Grant. And guys, I know this is a lot, but I think it is so important that you are educated on these different nominees before one of them is chosen, so that your voice can be heard. And then, of course, like I alluded to earlier, I will move on and tell you guys how about those key senators, the Democratic ones that President Trump met with, and just what they said, and their individual tweets. That was really interesting. But before that, I will tell you a little bit about Justice Britt C. Grant. She is currently on the Supreme Court of Georgia, and she was appointed on January 1st, 2017, last year, by Governor Nathan Deal. And she previously served as the Solicitor General to the state of Georgia in the Office of Georgia Attorney General from 2015 to 2017. And she was born in Atlanta, Georgia, raised in Fulton County, graduated from Westminster Schools in Atlanta and Wake Forest University in North Carolina, where she attended as an honors scholar and received her Bachelor of Arts, summa cum laude, of course, in English and politics. Now, after graduating, she got her feet right in the door, and she worked in Washington, D.C., office of the then Congressman Nathan Deal, who, like I said, appointed her to the Supreme Court of Georgia. And she began serving in the White House under President George W. Bush shortly before 9/11. She held several domestic policy roles in the administration. And her husband, Justin G. Grant, served in the CIA as well. That's a fun fact. So it looks like it runs in the family. And she attended Stanford Law School, where she served as president of the Stanford Federalist Society. And she graduated from Stanford with distinction. Now, after graduating from law school, she served as a law clerk to the Honorable Brett M. Kavanaugh, who I mentioned earlier as one of the front runners. And side note, it looks like Barbara Brayley said, summa cum laude is really great. I did it. Congrats, Barbara. That is so fantastic. Anyways, so she practiced at Kirkland & Ellis, LLP in Washington, D.C. She represented clients in commercial litigation before state courts, federal district courts, federal circuit courts, and the U.S. Supreme Court in a lot of different matters, including products liability, antitrust, class action defense, contracts, defamation, multi-district litigation, and constitutional law. And then in 2012, her and her family returned home to Georgia, where she began service in the office of the Georgia Attorney General as counsel for legal policy. So she would be a good decision as well. And like many of the other possible nominees, she holds many positions. She serves on the Federalism and Separation of Powers Executive Committee of the Federalist Society for Law and Public Policy Studies. She's a member of the Executive Board of the Atlanta chapter of the Society, and she's also a member of the State Bar of Georgia and of the Appellate Practice section of the State Bar, and she currently resides in Atlanta with her husband and her 3 children. Let's see. I'm going to go over to Facebook and see what you guys are saying over here. Okay, someone asked what was the topic, and you can see right here it is President Trump considering his Supreme Court nominees. And now I'm going to move on to the next one, and this one says his age, so you're welcome. The viewer that asked about age, Raymond Grunder is 53, and he was actually appointed to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit by President Bush in 2004 after actually working in a private practice and serving as a prosecutor in the Eastern District of Missouri. And he was first a U.S. attorney and first as an assistant, U.S. attorney, and then got promoted to a U.S. attorney. And let's see. He has deep Midwestern roots, and it looks like a lack of an Ivy League affiliation, which could actually be promising if Donald Trump is seeking someone outside of these, coastal elites. But it is known that he does prefer those from Yale and Harvard. And let's see. He actually has a cool personal story I'm going to share with you guys. When he was in law school, his father was angered after his mother fled to avoid abuse, and his father pulled a gun on Raymond and his siblings, which is absolutely heartbreaking, shooting Raymond and his sister, later committing suicide. But according to an official Minnesota State Bar Association publication, he knocked his father to the floor before his 12-year-old brother could be shot. So he actually saved his father's life. So that, his brother's life. So that is fantastic. And Let's see. He has ruled consistently against criminal defendants in death penalty cases. And he's written several opinions reflecting hostility to reproductive rights, and he's ruled in favor of employers in a number of employment discrimination cases. So that's very interesting. So a lot of information about him on the SCOTUS blog, but I'm not going to get into all of that because I don't want to bore you with their entire life stories, but I will keep moving on to the next one. And it looks like some of our most loyal followers are here. History B and Christine Bastian, thank you so much for being here. It was fantastic to meet Christine recently at the rally in Fargo, North Dakota. Her story absolutely almost brought me to tears, and Tara was crying about just how RSBN had given her so much hope after she lost her son. She is a Gold Star mother. So if you guys are ever at these rallies where we are, please come meet us. We love meeting you, and we absolutely love hearing your stories. And I'm going to move on. Just a quick little bio about Raymond Kethledge. He is currently serving as a judge in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 6th Circuit, and he was also nominated by President Bush in 2007 to a seat vacated by James L. Ryan. He was confirmed by the Senate on June 24th, 2008, and received commission on July 7th. He got his Bachelor of Arts at the University of Michigan and his law degree at the University of Michigan Law School. So he did not go too far from home. His career includes serving as a law clerk for the Honorable Ralph B. Guy Jr. for the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 6th Circuit from 93 to 94. And he had a private practice in Michigan for a number of years. He was on Judiciary Council for U.S. Senator Spencer Abram of Michigan. He was a law clerk as well for, get this, Anthony Kennedy to the Supreme Court of the United States. So that is definitely cool that he has that connection with former Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy. Well, not former, still current, because he's still working until July 31st. And then he was counsel for the Ford Motor Company. Let's see. Okay, this is one that you guys have been commenting on a lot. Some of you are saying he's qualified. Some of you are saying he's not. But Mike Lee, who is currently a U.S. Senator from Utah, is also up for nomination. Now, he's kind of spent his career defending the basic liberties of Americans and the people of Utah. He's a tireless advocate of for our founding constitutional principles. And I know many of you were saying you want someone who is a constitutionalist. And he is said to have acquired a deep respect for the Constitution early on. His father, Rex Lee, served as the Solicitor General under President Ronald Reagan. And he attended most of his father's arguments before the U.S. Supreme Court, and that kind of gave him that hands-on experience. But before I tell you about his education, it looks like we got a donation, $10 from Kelsey Cook. Thank you so much for that. He graduated from, back to Michael Lee, he graduated from Brigham Young University with a Bachelor of Science in Political Science. He served as the student body president his senior year, and he also spent several years as an attorney with the law firm Sidley and Austin, specializing in appellate and Supreme Court litigation. So he has that little bit of Supreme Court experience there. And he served the state of Utah as Governor John Huntsman's general counsel and was later honored to reunite with Justice Alito, now in the Supreme Court, for a one-year clerkship, and then he returned to private practice in 2007. He's a member of the Judiciary Committee. He serves as the chairman of the Antitrust, Competition Policy, and Consumer Rights Subcommittee, protecting business competition and personal freedom. And he also oversees issues critical to Utah as the chairman of the Water and Power Subcommittees of the Energy and Natural Resources Committee. And then in the 114th Congress, he also began his tenure of chairman of the State Steering Committee, where he works with his Republican colleagues in the Senate to introduce bold and innovative solutions to issues facing the American people. And of course, he lives in Utah with his wife, Sharon, and their 3 children. He's a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and he has served a 2-year mission for the church in the Texas Rio Grande Valley. So he is definitely a Christian, and so that is a very good quality, at least for us conservatives. And it's kind of cool. I found this unique article from the Salt Lake Tribune, talking about how both Senator Mike Lee and his brother, Utah Supreme Court Justice Thomas Lee, are on Trump's short list to replace Kennedy. And there was a quote here earlier that I really liked. Let's see. Just want to get it right for you when I'm talking about which Lee. Well, it looks like one of them said, I started watching Supreme Court arguments for fun when I was 10 years old. So if somebody asked me if I would consider taking this position, I would not say no. But the president's got a decision to make, and I trust his ability to make it well. And it looks like, of course, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer had an opinion on this as well. He said our Republican colleagues in the Senate should follow the rule they set in 2016, not to consider a Supreme Court justice in an election year, which I mentioned that to you guys earlier, just about kind of, you know, some of the opposition from the Democratic Party about that. And it looks like, I'm going to back up a little bit. We got a $5 donation from Stephen John Asante, a loyal supporter who always donates. Thank you so much. And he said, please come to Houston. You always say that, and I used to live in Houston. I am not there anymore. I'm sorry. And while we're talking about the Lee brothers, I'll give you guys some background on Thomas Rex Lee. But before I do that, since I haven't done it in a while, I am going to tell you guys how to donate if you are able, because that is what keeps us going. So you can click the $ right here down below in the super chat. You can donate on our website, rsbnetwork.com/donate, and there you can donate directly through PayPal with a credit or debit card, and 100% of that comes to us. And you can also donate on patreon.com, and there is a link to Patreon on our website as well. And that's where you'll get some of those free fun monthly gifts. And you can also donate the old-fashioned way if you'd like to. You can send a check to our home address and a letter, and it's so heartwarming and such a blessing to see many of those checks, and more than the checks though, just your letters of support. I'm so thankful for. You can send there as well, and our address can be found on our website. So Thomas Rex Lee, he's currently the Associate Chief Justice of the Utah Supreme Court, and now his nomination actually unanimously passed a vote by the Utah Senate Judiciary Committee in mid-June 2010, and he's 53 years old, for those wondering about his age. Now, he He's been a prolific writer, authoring over a quarter of majority opinions of a 5-member court and frequently issuing concurring or dissenting opinions. He's a pioneer in law and corpus linguistics. And his application of corpus linguistics to determine ordinary meaning in statutes, he's actually the first American judge to do so in an opinion. And he is also the son of United States Solicitor General Rex H. Lee. And let's see a little bit of his education. He went to Brigham Young University, graduating summa cum laude in 1988 with a bachelor's degree in economics, and he graduated from the University of Chicago Law School with high honors in 1991. And let's see, so after receiving his degree, he actually served as a law clerk to J. Harvey Wilkinson of the United States Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit, and while at law school, he was a counsel at Howard, Phillips, and Anderson, handling intellectual property matters. He was a counsel in many trademark infringement cases brought by or against automobile manufacturers such as GM and Ford. And he's also written multiple papers on the issues related to counting non-residents in the census with Laura J. Wolfson. Now, I know that I have just fed you guys so much information tonight, and I'm not done. There are still quite a few to go. But, you know, if there are any that you want to see nominated that are not on this list that you haven't already mentioned, please send them to me on Twitter, which I'll show you guys right now, right here, at Alyssa RSBN. And I will read those out loud. Let's see. JC said, do you know what time the pick will be called? I do not yet. It is not tonight, but he is hoping to have someone by July 9th. Let's see, and I got a message from Mikey on Twitter. Alyssa, how about one of these three? Jason Aldrich, Michael Bekesha, and James F. Peterson from the Judicial Watch. These definitely seem to be good choices as well. They were all on the Judicial Watch, so thank you so much for sharing that. And let's see, I'm going to, just got a $20 donation from Rick Moore. Thank you so much for that. When do you begin full-time, and who is going to the rally / when will coverage start? So next week I will be packing and moving. So the week after next I will begin full-time. And those going to the rally are Aaron, Tom, and Liz, and I believe coverage will start a little earlier in the day because doors open at 1 and the rally's actually at 4 this time. So coverage should be, I'm thinking late morning, but they will have that 11 a.m. Okay, Joe just said 11 a.m. So 11 a.m. coverage will start for the Great Falls, Montana
11 a.m.
rally. Mountain time, because we are just, you know, all over the country in all different time zones. I am going to get a quick sip of water before I tell you about Justice Mansfield. And okay, we're good here. So Justice Mansfield of Des Moines, Iowa was appointed to the Supreme Court of Iowa in 2011, but he was actually born and raised in Massachusetts, received his undergrad degree from Harvard in 1978, and his law degree from Yale in 1982. That's fantastic. So he has both. And after law school, he clerked for the U.S. Court of Appeals in the Fifth Circuit. He worked as an attorney in private practice until his appointment to Iowa Court of Appeals in 2009. And let's see. Yeah, I like your comment right here on CloudWatcher6114. When you said that was a presidential election, not a midterm election. If you do not consider nominations during all elections, you would greatly limit when, if ever, nominations could be made. I definitely agree with you there. Thank you for your feedback. And let's see. Also, back to Justice Mansfield, he's a member of the Iowa State Bar Association, served as the chair of trade regulation from 2004 to 2006. He's a member of the Polk County Bar Association and the Iowa Judges Association, and he also serves on the board of directors of Goodwill Industries of Central Iowa and is a past chairperson of the organization. He is married and has 3 children, and his current term actually doesn't expire until December 31st, 2020. So if he's not chosen, he will still be serving in Iowa until then. And now I'm going to tell you a little bit about Federico Moreno, another one of the considerations. He is currently an Article 3 federal judge for the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of Florida, which he joined in 1990 after being nominated by President George Bush, who seemed to nominate many of these judges. He served as the chief judge of the court from 2007 to 2014. And prior to this appointment on the federal judge, he was actually a judge on the 11th Circuit Court of Florida. And he was listed, as you know, because I'm mentioning it right now, by President Trump as a potential Supreme Court nominee to replace Justice Anthony Kennedy. Let's see. He's actually a native of Caracas, Venezuela, and he graduated from the University of Notre Dame with his bachelor's degree in 1974, and from the University of Miami Law School with his JD in 1978. He has served as a judge on various courts in Florida. He had a private practice in Miami, Florida, before becoming an assistant public defender at the Southern District of Florida. And let's see. Actually, kind of going through his biography, I found an interesting quote from President Trump that is attributed to his campaign website. He said, let's see, hold on. It looks like this is back from 2016. He was also considered for Justice Scalia's replacement. So back then, President Trump said, "We have a very clear choice in this election. The freedoms we cherish and the constitutional values and principles our country..." No, I'm sorry. This is not something Trump said. This is something Judge Moreno said. "The freedoms we cherish and the constitutional values and principles our country was founded on are in jeopardy. The responsibility is greater than ever to protect and uphold these freedoms, and I will appoint justices who, like Scalia, will protect our liberty in the highest regard for the Constitution." So, I'm sorry, it says appoint justices, so it was obviously President Trump. Sorry to go back and forth on you guys on that. Also, another individual being considered is Kevin Newsome, who is currently a federal judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit, which he joined in 2017 after a nomination from President Trump. He's a native of Birmingham, Alabama, and he earned his bachelor's degree summa cum laude from Stanford University, graduated first class from Stanford, and first in his class, and he earned his JD from Harvard Law School, and of course graduated magna cum laude. And let's see, I am looking because I don't want to bore you guys with every single fact, but I am going to tell you what you need to know. So back in 2005, at oral arguments before the U.S. Supreme Court, Newsome argued for the court to uphold the lower court rulings in his capacity as the Solicitor General of Alabama. That is very interesting. And if you want to see the whole story there, all you have to do is go to ballotpedia.org/Kevin_Newsome. But I'm going to move on because I have a few more that I want to talk to you about, and I also want to talk to you, like I said, about those Democratic senators that President Trump met with in the last couple days. So another consideration, but before I read this one, we just got $9.99 from Last Cigarette. Thank you so much. He said, I think we have 3 senators who don't think are going to let Trump pass his SCOTUS nominee before the election: McCain, Flake, and another. Okay, and then Martin Marvel said McCain, Flake, and Collins are the 3. There are definitely senators that are, especially Democratic senators, that are going to get in the way of President Trump's decision, but hopefully he will still be able to carry out that decision, assuming that this individual will be a good Supreme Court justice for our country. But of course, this will be just reviewed and looked at extraneously by the Senate. So anyways, moving on, William Pryor is currently a federal judge on the United States Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit. He first joined the court on a recess appointment with former President George W. Bush, of course, in 2004, and later received his commission as an Article III judge in 2005. And before that, he was the Attorney General of Alabama, and he graduated from Northeast Louisiana University with his bachelor's degree in '84 and from Tulane University Law School in 1987. And he has served as a judge at the U.S. Court of Appeals. Well, it's actually what he's doing right now. He has served as the Attorney General of Alabama, the Deputy Attorney General of Alabama, an adjunct professor at Stanford University's Cumberland School of Law, and he had a private practice in Alabama. And moving on, Margaret Ryan is being considered, and she is currently an Article I federal judge on the United States Court of Appeals of the Armed Forces, which is very unique. She joined the court on December 20th, 2006, following a nomination from George W. Bush, and her term actually will not end until 2021. She is a native of Chicago, Illinois. She received her bachelor's degree cum laude from Knox College in 1985. And during a portion of her legal studies, she was a member of the Notre Dame Law Review. And let's see, she was also she had a private practice in Washington, D.C. and in Chicago. And she was a law clerk for the Honorable Clarence Thomas, the Supreme Court of the United States. And she was also a law clerk for the Honorable J. Michael Ledig of the United States Court of Appeals for the 4th Circuit. Now, hearings on her nomination were held in the United States Senate Committee on Armed Services on December 4th, 2006. And one of her noteworthy cases is on First Amendment protections clarified for the UCMG speech violations, and that was held in 2008, and that is one of her most noteworthy cases. Also up to be a possible nominee is David Strauss, who is currently a judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit. He was nominated by President Trump on May 8th of last year, and on January 30th of this year, he was confirmed by the United States Senate with a vote of 56 to 42. And let's see. He received his bachelor's degree in 95 and his MBA in 99 from the University of Kansas, and he also received his law degree in 99 from the University of Kansas Law School. And during his legal studies, he served as editor-in-chief of the Kansas Law Review. And he's held a variety of positions, from associate justice to law clerk to, just a law clerk for a variety of judges as well. And I'm going to kind of breeze through these next ones so I can tell you guys the rest of the information I have prepared. Diane Skies is also up to be a possible nominee. She is a federal judge of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit, and she joined in 2004 after being nominated by President George W. Bush. And of course, she graduated from Northwestern University with her BA from the Medill School of Journalism in 1980. And she received her law degree from Marquette University Law School in 1984. And between college and law school, she worked as a reporter for the Milwaukee Journal. And she has served as a judge, a justice, a circuit judge in private practice, and a law clerk for the Honorable Terrence Evans in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Wisconsin. The British Patriot said, "Can we just clone Gorsuch?" I wish. That would be very nice, but no, we can't do that. Let's see, and I'm going to head over to Twitter, see what you guys said over here. Yes, you're saying you wanted to see some of the web pages I'm talking about. I will show you guys that soon when I show you some of those senators' tweets. Skate Our MAGA account said that. I wonder if that's Nate to Skate too, if that's the same person. Oh, yeah, looks like nskate007. But yes, I will show you that soon. I am just going to get through the last few nominees real quick. Let's see. Amul Thapar. I actually told you guys about him earlier, so I am not going to go through that again. But another one is Timothy Tymkovich, who is the Chief Judge of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit. He joined in 2003 after being nominated by President George Bush, and he was elevated to Chief Judge in 2015. He was born in Denver, Colorado, graduated from Colorado College with a BA in 1979, and from the University of Colorado Law School with his JD in 1982. And you know what, Nate Skate, I will show you real quick this webpage just so you can see for yourself a picture of Judge Tymkovich, and you can see his professional accomplishments as well. And it looks like we just got a $19.99 donation from Kelsey Cook, who said, "Go Tigers." Thank you so much, Kelsey. and it looks like you have your little LSU logo up, so thank you so much for that. But I have had coffee tonight. Now I need to be an Auburn Tigers fan because I'm moving here, so I have to be, or I will not survive. Let's see, I'm going to real quick show you guys, like I said, Timkovich's professional career. So you can see right here, he's currently a judge on the United States Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit, and he had a private practice in Denver, Colorado, and he was a law clerk, and it looks like many of them started that way, and that's what you have to do, work your way up for the Honorable William Erickson of the Colorado Supreme Court. So there is a little bit more. You can see his nomination tracker. This has been a, and some noteworthy cases, this has been a really fantastic website. Ballotpedia has information basically about every American politician. So that has been really, really helpful tonight. And I am going to switch it back and show you guys my lower third to remind you right here that if you want to message me on Twitter and interact, please do. That's something really special about RSBN, just how we're able to interact with our viewers. And so if you can and would like to message me right here at Alyssa RSBN, I would really love to hear your thoughts. And I am also going to tell you guys about Robert Young Jr. And since you asked to see pictures, I will head back over. Someone said, Alyssa, are you using Ballotpedia for all of the justice nominees? No, I am not. It has definitely been my favorite tonight, but I have definitely used a variety of sources just to find as much information as I can. And I'm going to go back real quick and show you a picture of Robert Young here. He was a Republican candidate who sought election to the U.S. Senate from Michigan. As you can see, he's actually retired right now, but he has a lot of experience. He was a justice on the Michigan Supreme Court, and he graduated from Harvard with honors and then from Harvard Law School in 1977. And you can see his career right here and some of his awards and associations. He was a former trustee for the Detroit Institute of Children and for the Detroit Historical Society. He was a former member for the Governor's Task Force on Children's Justice concerning child abuse and neglect. And he has a variety of endorsements as well and noteworthy cases you can check out as well. And now I'm going to show you guys the next one. Don Willett, he's a judge on the United States Court of Appeals for the 5th Circuit. He joined the court in 2017 after a nomination from President Trump. And also, he was born in Dallas, Texas, received his BBA from Baylor in 1988, and his AM from Duke in 1992, and then his JD from Duke in 1992 as well. He actually clerked for Judge J.R. Williams on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 5th Circuit. He joined Governor George Bush's administration as the Director of Research and Special Projects. So that's definitely interesting. And then he worked on the 2000 Bush-Cheney campaign and helped with the transition team as a special advisor on the domestic policy and special projects. And he is also being considered. Also, we have Patrick Wyrick, who does not have a picture here. I apologize for that. But some information, he's currently a justice on the Oklahoma Supreme Court, and he was appointed by Republican Governor, as you can see, Mary Fallin, on February 9th, 2017. And yes, Sale Awi, if I'm saying that right, you said, remember Trump said he wants someone that will serve 40 to 45 years, so age matters. Yes, it definitely does. And hopefully this next Supreme Court justice can serve that long of a term. And let's see. He was also the Solicitor General in Oklahoma. And I think that that is actually the last one on the list. And so now I'm going to tell you guys about those tweets I kept telling you about. And I will tell you also who President Trump met with recently. So back on Thursday, he met with key senators at the White House as the administration goes into full court press to nominate and conserve the next Supreme Court justice. So he actually met with 3 red state Democrats who are all facing tough re-election fights this year. That includes Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, Joe Donnelly of Indiana, and Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota, which is really interesting because recently I got to see firsthand at the Fargo, North Dakota rally. He was actually kind of bashing Senator Heidi Heitkamp, but she said she's okay with this because she kind of knows it's the nature of politics, but that they had a really great meeting. So I will show you those tweets. But first, it looks like we just got a donation, $49.99. Wow, another one from Not Sure. You donated so much tonight. Thank you so much. It's so appreciated by everyone here at RSBN. This is why Donald J. Trump was elected. We anticipated 2 for sure, might get 3. That is true. So exciting. Just the number of Supreme Court justices he's been able to appoint and could in the future as well. It's very exciting. And so let's see, I am going to pull up these tweets I was telling you about real quick. Let me switch the screen. First one from Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia. He said, I appreciate President Trump inviting me to the White House tonight. We had a productive conversation about how we can work together to move West Virginia and our country forward. I look forward to more positive meetings. So it looks like definitely there was a positive result there, and I am going to try to pull up Heidi Heitkamp's tweet as well, because I know she had one. Let me find her official page for you. Okay, maybe not, but I thought she had a tweet, but it was actually something I read in a Valley News article from Fargo, North Dakota. So sorry about that. But anyways, let's see. We'll be wrapping this up soon. It's been almost 2 hours. Wow. But again, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or anyone you think should be nominated to be the next Supreme Court Justice, please DM them to me at Alyssa RSBN. And I'm going to check Twitter a couple more times just to make sure there are no more comments. But I also wanted to read you guys a quote from Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who will be working very hard alongside President Trump to kind of consider this next Supreme Court justice. He said the president's nominee should be considered fairly and not be subjected to personal attacks. Unfortunately, far-left special interest groups are already calling on Senate Democrats to oppose anyone on President Trump's long list of potential nominees. The ink wasn't even dry on Justice Kennedy's resignation letter before my friend, the Democratic leader, seemed to echo that right here on the floor, that none of the exceptional legal minds on this list would be tolerable to him. Think of that. These are 25 Americans from all over the country who have excelled in their professions. The idea that any of them, let alone all of them, would be automatically unacceptable is totally absurd. Unfortunately, I'm afraid this may just be a precursor of all of the unfair attacks to come, both from the inside and outside of the Senate. Fortunately, we have every reason to expect an outstanding selection. President Trump's judicial nominations to date have reflected a keen understanding of the vital role that judges play in our constitutional order, interpreting the law fairly, applying it even-handedly, setting aside personal preferences, and assessing what the law actually says. These traits have characterized the excellent nominees the president has already sent to the Senate. I look forward to another such nomination. So positive words from Senator Mitch McConnell as he looks forward to this election. And of course, we still have that opposition from Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. And also some Democrats that are going to be put under intense pressure. Well, the Democrats will be putting intense pressure on some more moderate Republicans, like Senator Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, who support abortion rights. They're kind of going to be in the hot seat as well, and they've been in the news a lot lately. And just got another DM on Twitter from JC, one of our moderators. I want Judge Janine for SCOTUS. Right in Judge Janine. I wish I could, JC. That would be so much fun. She is absolutely fantastic. It's so much fun watching her show. I need to watch it more. I have not in a while. But let me see if you guys have any more comments or questions. Vegas Dude said, will RSBN have a poll on who Trump should pick? We're not really having a poll. This is kind of our way of doing that. But we will, of course, continue to update you as he is expected to have that individual picked on July 9th. Just reading through the comments here. Lots of positive comments thanking us for this broadcast, and I am so thankful you guys have tuned in. It has been so much fun. And let's see. I like how a lot of you say bye before you stop watching. That's very nice and personal. And since I haven't said it in a while, and one of our fantastic moderators, Webster Cal, just commented how, if you guys want to and are able to donate, that would be so appreciated. You can, and you can see Joe right here to everyone. He is getting ready for the next rally, getting that equipment together, and he just had a good positive discussion with LiveView, and so we think they fixed it, guys. So we are hoping and praying for a perfect stream next week. Well,
a little bonus coverage, Alyssa.
This coming week.
They've never seen an RSBN camera.
Yeah, I'll show them.
The rally cameras.
Mm-hmm. So this is one of our 4K cameras that we use. It is a JVC, pretty simple, not too tough to use, and we use basically the same one for inside and outside as well. Thank you. And Can I show them the live view as well? You might want to see that.
Yeah, we'll check it out for you.
The live view is really funny. It's the unit that we are able to go live.
25 grand.
Guys, 25 grand for this little box. Yeah, and it has an HDMI port and an SDI port that you just plug the cords into, and it goes directly to the camera, and then it pulls from all these different cell phone provider towers, and that's how we are able to get the signal out to you guys. So he's getting that equipment together right now. Someone said, I want one. They are, oh, there's something. They're funny. They're in these little breathable cases because they get kind of hot sometimes. And someone actually asked Liz at the airport going through security, one of the TSA officers asked her if she had an animal, and she said no, I wish, on her back. It was funny. Let's see. I feel like I had one more tweet for you guys from one of the senators President Trump just met with. Let me try to track that down real quick. It must have been Joe Donnelly. Let me check. And I was very impressed as well that President Trump is also trying to get that Democratic support, you know, reaching across the aisle, just so there can be more bipartisan solutions. I think that that is very important. Yes, okay, wait. Here it is. I knew it. He had a fantastic statement. I got it mixed up with Heidi Heitkamp, but I found it. So let me pull that up for you guys real quick and switch the screen. Senator Joe Donnelly of Indiana said, I had a good conversation with the president on a range of issues, including the Supreme Court vacancy, our work together on the recently enacted right to try law, and the impact of the administration's trade policies on Indiana steel manufacturers and Hoosier farms. When the president presents the Senate with his choice for Supreme Court, I will thoroughly review the record and qualifications of that nominee. When it comes to our country's trade challenges, we discussed our shared desire to crack down on bad actors, including China. I also relayed to President Trump the growing concerns I've heard from Hoosier farmers about falling commodity prices and the uncertainty created by current trade policy. So it looks like they talked about a lot and got a lot more done than just talking about the next presidential nominee. So it sounds like a very productive meeting. Okay, and I'm going to switch back to me and show you guys my Twitter handle one more time, at Alyssa RSBN. And of course, you know, you don't have to message me while I'm broadcasting. I'm available to you guys all the time. Whatever questions you have, I just want to get to know you guys. Looks like we got a comment from, again, one of our fantastic moderators, JC. Keep fighting, patriots. The truth is out there. Don't be a sheep. Spread the word about. And then it ends at about. So you're going to have to finish, JC. Spread the word about. I'm guessing you might have said RSBN. I don't know. And real quick, just in case you guys aren't as familiar with it, I will show you guys Right Side's fantastic Twitter account. It's at RSB Network. That's the handle. Move it over a little bit so it's a little more clear for you guys. Hold on. Okay. So you can see we're doing well right now with 54.5 thousand followers. We're so thankful for each and every one of you. And then right now our pinned video is really cool. It is the crowd at the Fargo, North Dakota rally. And I believe our CEO, Joe, tweeted this. Mr. President, we have been showing the crowds at your rallies for almost 3 years now, and the rest of the media never would. And now, when you ask, there's still one camera you can always count on to turn and show it. And that was so much fun, such a special moment for our cameraman, Micah, because he panned the crowd when many of the other media outlets did not, and he raised his hand, and then everyone cheered. And so that was very exciting. And you can see on here as well, we also tweet out those live feeds to our rallies. And we had fun this time. Tara actually got to interview the inventor, Mike Lindell of MyPillow. That was so much fun. He's such a fantastic entrepreneur. And then the announcement as well of the next rally we are going to in Great Falls, Montana. So I'm gonna switch it back to me, wrapping it up, and I am just going to make sure there are no more comments or questions I need to read out.
So we have a couple donations.
Yes, it looks like, thank you, Joe. We got a couple donations I have not read yet. Guys, thank you so much. They came in after, Not Sure donated for the 3rd time tonight. Thank you so much, Not Sure, especially for that gigantic donation. That's going to help us so much to get to the next rally. So Scottsdale, Arizona donated again. Thank you, $24.99. Very informative broadcast, Alyssa. And Carl Peterson, again, thank you, Carl, donated $20. And he said these precious moments will be remembered, MAGA. Which, in case you don't know, means Make America Great Again. And it looks like our moderators, one of our moderators, JC, is commenting with our address, which if you want to donate the old-fashioned way, you can do it there as well. And of course, you can also donate on our website, which I actually haven't showed you guys tonight. So let me show you real quick how you can donate on our website, which has recently got a new name and was redone. So now it's a lot cleaner and a lot prettier by our fantastic CEO, Joe. And you can see how to donate. So you just go to rsbnetwork.com and you can click at the top, donate. Super easy, super simple, just a couple steps. And then if you want to donate via PayPal or credit card, you click here. It'll take you directly to that box. And I'm going to back it up and show you Patreon. And you can donate there as well. Wow, and it looks like we have 142 patrons and $2,533 coming in a month from Patreon. So that is fantastic, but we always need more to go to these rallies. So please donate as you can. And of course, we understand if you're unable to donate, you can share our streams as well on social media. That is so important, and we're so thankful for that. Yeah, and it looks like Webster T just commented, grab some great RSBN swag. That's so much fun. So I'll show you guys real quick, pulling this over. If you are interested, some of our shirts from T Public. America, y'all, an American flag, definition of America, classic right side logos, thumbs up, don't tread on me, and Atticus.
There's a lot more coming too.
Yeah, and a lot more are coming. Thank you so much for sharing, Webster Cal. Oh, and $2 from Christine Bestian. Thank you so much. She said, Joe, thank you for letting me be part of RSBN family.
Love you, Christine.
Love you, Christine. I don't know if you heard that. He said, love you, Christine, and I do too. It was so fantastic to meet you at the rally. Something that I'm so thankful for, just those personal interactions, and meeting you guys is what makes it all worth it. Let's see. Christine Gross said, will you be in Michigan? No, the team will be going to Montana actually, but I will not be joining them because I'm in the process of moving. But after next week, you can expect to see me basically every day, at least Monday through Friday, and of course weekends if there's breaking news as well. And Christine Bestian responded, same here, so happy to see the work coming together. And thank you so much, Light Switch, for your sweet comments. Always appreciate having you in the chat room. And JC is excited about Montana. And let me check Facebook as well, see if there's anything new. Did Facebook stop streaming?
Did it? Reload it. Play. It's like you're good.
No, it looks like we're good. Okay.
Maybe?
I just haven't seen any
it might have stopped
new
out.
comments lately. Okay.
I'll check it. Let me look on my phone.
Yeah, it looks good. I think it's good. Joe, do you have anything to say? Do you want to help sign us off tonight?
Yeah. I think you're doing a pretty good job yourself, you know?
He's not feeling it tonight.
I think we found our answer to our anchor problem, right? Guys, good job tonight.
Thank you.
And to everybody that donated, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your donations, guys.
And but really, really appreciate it. And
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna continue. We're gonna be really busy. I hope y'all can hear me, but we have like 30 to 40 of these rallies coming up between now and November. So
yes,
my life is gonna be crazy. Alyssa can testify to the fact that I stay pretty busy as it is, but you throw 30 rallies in there, and it's just crazy because I do the travel plans and booking and equipment getting ready, and it's just like, wow, crazy. Yeah. But we love it because we know we're making a difference, and it's humbling to see that. So thank y'all. You're very special to us. Yes, you guys are super special. And just got a fun comment, Christine Gross. Totally off subject, but love your lipstick. What is it? It's kind of wearing off now, but I'll show you real quick. It's a pretty good one. It's Mary Kay, and it's actually
the gel mat, I think. And this crushed berry. I'll show you guys. Mary Kay's great, and now I am moving and leaving my consultant, so I'll have to find a new one in Alabama. My dad said Joe is so smart to hire Alyssa. Yes, he is. Thanks, Dad. Okay. Well, we are going to wrap it up, so go ahead and submit any of your last questions or comments or your own personal recommendations for the next Supreme Court Justice. What an exciting time. And something kind of on a harder topic, something I didn't say yet. I just wanted to let you guys know, and I'm sorry that we didn't cover it because it was during the craziness of the rally, but our thoughts and prayers are with those that work at the Capitol Gazette, the 5 lost lives that were lost, those journalists. I just want to ask you guys to keep praying for those family members. It was really heartbreaking, of course, and unexpected, as every shooting and tragedy is. But the newspaper continued to move forward and said that, of course, they would publish a newspaper the next day, and they did, with pictures of their employees they lost. So just wanted to let you guys know. We didn't forget about that. We saw it. We just were not able to broadcast about it because we were traveling for the rally. And also, we got $4.99 from Kelsey Cook with a shout out to you. She said, Joe is a cutie. Oh. He says, thanks. Alyssa, you're lovely. SELA class of 2021. So cool. Thank you so much, Kelsey. And that's actually not her first time donating tonight. Swoosh for Trump said, give her a raise, Joe. That's funny. Wow, it has been so much fun, guys. Thank you so much for listening, for commenting. We've got a t-shirt suggestion coming in. Who said that? Where was that? I just lost it. Oh, and Christine Gross. Good. Yes, definitely check with your Mary Kay consultant. Okay, well, guys, thank you so much. It has been so much fun tonight talking to you guys. I know it was just actually over 2 hours, just over 2 hours of information about who the next Supreme Court Justice will be, all of these nominees. The president has a lot to consider and a lot of interviews, and I know that he has these, you know, top 5 that he's kind of chosen, but there are others as well that I know he's going to just really consider, and so that'll be really exciting. Please just keep him in your thoughts and prayers as he is just making this big decision. So thank you so much, guys, and as I'm moving, I won't see you for a little, like about a week, as I move and transition. So I'll miss you guys, but I will be back stronger than ever, and it is going to be so much fun. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. It has been such a blast informing you, talking to you guys, and getting to know you guys, and I hope you all have a fantastic night.